Today on the podcast, I have Carrie White, who many of you know is the right arm at the BPR Experience. She just got her license and she has a story to tell about her first 10 days of being a realtor. If you want to see what it really looks like to get your license, the behind the scenes and the everyday, also some stories that I'm not even kidding, I just about peed my pants when I heard them, this episode's for you. Let's dive in. You're listening to the Girl Get Your Face Off a Bus Bench podcast, where we invite you to check your ego at the app, grab a cup of coffee, and get ready to dive into all things real estate marketing, social media, friendship, hardship, love, money mindset, and all the things that celebrate you as a badass boss babe.
We're here to encourage you, show up for you, give you a loving kick in the pants when you need it most, and be your soft place to land on the hardest of days. So pull up a seat at our table and get ready to be inspired and start living your best life by design.
Welcome to the Girl Get Your Face Off a Bus Bench podcast. We are so excited you're here.
Okay, girls, let's dive in.
Okay, Bus Bench babes, Carrie and I have a really fun episode for you today. Beth's out of town. She's in Italy. So we thought, why the heck not get on here and have a conversation about what it looks like to become a real estate agent. So if you are an agent already, you're thinking about becoming one, or you're a real estate client and you kind of think it looks maybe a little glamorous, or maybe you just have no idea what goes on behind the scenes, this episode is going to be a breakdown of what it's looked like for Carrie to get her license, what her first 10 days have looked like. And I've heard a couple of stories and I've just about peed my pants laughing. So get ready. And so what to expect. So let's go ahead and dive in, Carrie.
Hi.
Welcome back to the show, I should say.
Yes. Thanks so much. This is so fun. I'm super excited. And yeah, these stories, I'm excited to share them.
Yeah. So as everyone knows who's been listening to this for even a minute, I'm not a realtor at all, but I work with realtors. And Carrie has been on the team for, Carrie, how long have you been on the team?
It'll be 2 years in August.
2 years in August. Okay. So she just got her real estate license. So this has been, I know you can share more about this, a dream of hers for quite a while. And Beth's been gone and it has been really interesting. So I would love, first of all, Carrie, tell everyone a little bit about you if maybe they're newer to you or they just need like a little recap.
Sure. So I came onto the team in August of 2022. I was a former trust and estate paralegal, so I loved kind of that transactional type of work and helping clients with things that they don't do every day. So really helping those step-by-step, start to finish kind of process. I'm married. I live in Chanhassen with my family, my husband, John, and my daughter, Louise, and we have a little dog named Bentley. So,
Bentley.
yeah.
Oh.
So that's
all right.
a little bit about me.
All right. So you can I didn't write down the episode, but Carrie and I have done a creating content episode, which has been a really popular episode. So if you want to go back in our archives and check that out, you can learn even more about Carrie. But we're going to dive right in. So tell us first, Carrie, like why you decided you wanted to get your real estate license and like what that looked like for you. Because I think a lot of people dream of it or like have this idea that it would be fun, but what did that actually, like why? What's the why?
Sure. So it all just kind of fell into place. It feels so aligned, and just getting to know the whole real estate industry, kind of the business, seeing all the different parts that go into it. So I came onto the team as the assistant, the right arm, helping with transactions directly with clients, kind of behind the scenes stuff as part of the team. And getting licensed has always been kind of in the back of my mind. I didn't necessarily see myself as a full-time realtor, but more of that operations role. But learning that getting licensed would help me do my operations role just this much better. Like, it's so exciting. It feels like the puzzle pieces are all coming together, seeing the different the steps that the realtor takes that I wasn't privy to before, like on a matter. So I would come in to a deal like from the contract to like once a contract was accepted. So now I get to see that all the work that's done before that. And like I said, putting the puzzle pieces into place, it just makes more sense. I'm seeing the fuller picture. So
I love this. And if you like, if you know Carrie, you're listening to this and you already know her, she is like operations, systems, like all of that is her jam, like checking stuff off. Like she's so organized. So this makes complete sense for me, just like listening to you say this of why this is your why of doing this. Like it's so cool. So why don't you shared a little bit, but why don't you dive in a little more about what your role looked like before and then versus now? And also, you've been licensed for like 10 days.
right. Yes. So in the office, Beth and I share an office space. So it's been amazing to absorb like everything that she does on the real estate side. But I would come in once Beth either got a contract for a client, like a buyer put an offer in on a house and it got accepted, I would kind of take over that file and help coordinate to get it from that offer accepted point to closing. And I'd also help just general onboarding with team, like everything, all things, checklists, systems, scheduling open houses on our listings and coordinating all of our listings that are coming up, helping arrange photography, signs, all the little extra things that go into making a real estate transaction happen.
Also fixing ice makers.
Mm-hmm.
And
Cooking.
she's cooking. She's the Traeger queen. Like you need to follow Carrie if you don't already or get on her email list because she legit is the most talented Traeger expert I have met and appreciate. So
thank you. Yeah. It is so much fun. I love my Traeger. I love trying new recipes and it's been so much fun, especially this season to get out there and start grilling. So
she's named her Traeger.
Yes,
why don't you share?
His name is Chris Traeger, which is a shout out to the TV show Parks and Rec. I'm a huge fan. It just makes me laugh every time I see it.
I love it. Okay, so what did it look like getting your license, the process? I was sort of like asking a lot of questions throughout, like, when are you going to actually have it? Or like, how many hours is it? Like, are you kidding me? So like, share a little bit about that. And I also, though, Beth has shared how like the threshold's pretty low to get into this industry. So I would like to know like your take and what you think there because you just went through it.
Yes. So the process, there's different companies that offer the classes and you can pick, any which one you want. I don't think there's one is better than the other, but the threshold is low. Like you could be in high school and if you want to go into real estate, you can start taking the courses. You just have to be 18 years old, complete the 90 hours of coursework.
My God.
Yep. So that's
90.
3 30-hour courses. And there is a national exam and a state exam. And then each of those 3 courses also has kind of final proctored exams. So there's a total of 5 exams, 90 hours of coursework. And it's really for people who, like, if you aren't disciplined and you just think you're going to kind of muddle your way through it. No, I'll do an hour here and an hour there. Like 90 hours is significant. So having a plan in place to do the coursework and make progress and schedule those exams, having that discipline, I think would be key. So
how did you make it happen? Because you're a mom, a wife, like John travels for work, like, and you have a full-time job. Like, what did that look like for you?
Yeah. So I started taking the classes and John and Louise both were my biggest cheerleaders, super supportive. This is where I started becoming more of a morning person. I was already a morning person, but I would set the alarm for 4:45 and I'd be at my office, at my house by 5 a.m. And I would get 2 to 3 hours of courses done most days in the morning. And sometimes Louise would get up during that time and come down. She actually got to kind of see the instructors too. So it's all online. And there was this one certain instructor, and if it switched to a different one, she'd be like, "Where's the other guy? I don't know this one." So, she got to see me doing the work, which was so rewarding. And it just took time, but I felt supported, and yeah, carving out that time when I could to get it done. So I actually also got lucky. My sister traveled out of town and needed a dog sitter. So I took that as kind of a little staycation, and I went to her house all by myself and watched her dogs. But during that time, I think I knocked out like 33 hours of the
Oh my
90-hour
gosh.
courses. Yeah.
That is so many. So
Yeah.
full transparency here too. Like we knew Beth was going to Italy and she was gone for a long chunk of time. It's a good chunk of time, not a long chunk, but a good chunk of time. And we knew like, let's get Carrie licensed and up to speed before that happens. So you had like somewhat of a structure of a timeline in place. Carrie and I just both look at each other like, what was that bang? What was it, Carrie?
I think the door just slammed shut.
Oh, I'm like, did Birch just jump off something and knock something over? That's hilarious.
Yeah.
This is the reality behind the scenes. So you did have like somewhat of a structure in place, which probably, did that help?
It did. I had that kind of goal of when I wanted to have the license in hand, and we'd kind of set up a schedule working backwards from that. Yeah.
Okay. So Best in Italy, you've been licensed for 5 minutes. We've had a couple of conversations, and I'm not kidding you when I said I almost peed my pants laughing, because what has happened in your first 10 days of being licensed is just, I mean, I see the ins and outs of this business, but I would have never guessed. So can you share a little bit about what your experience has been like these first 10 days? I think whether or not you're a realtor, like a new realtor, as a agent that's been around for a long time, or if you're simply just a person listening to this podcast episode, you don't even have to be interested in buying or selling. You will find this process interesting, or the experience interesting.
Yeah. So first 10 days, it was like, I like to say it was kind of like sink or swim time. And to me, sinking is not an option. So let's do this. I had a couple buyers had my contact information in case a house popped up on their search. They could reach out to me and I could help facilitate a showing. So I think I went on 15 different showings so far. And we've had 3 closings scheduled, and which also meant I had to do 3 walkthroughs. So it was a lot of just right into the business type of stuff. The amount of time I spent in my car was alarming. I have a fuel efficient vehicle, but man, I was filling up my gas tank so much. These are things I was not expecting. That for sure.
How's your back doing from like sitting in the car so much?
Definitely. Like my hips, I feel like just getting out and stretching when I have a chance to, holy buckets. But it has been great. It really was firsthand experience. Like, we're going all in. This is it. So it felt great.
So we usually connect quite a bit. Like we'll connect, we have our weekly meetings and stuff, and Beth is gone. So I'm like, gosh, I haven't heard from Carrie in a while. Like we'll usually connect, at least every other day or something, right? When she's gone. And I'm like, this is so strange. So I call her and she's like, you're not going to believe what I'm doing. And I'm like, what? So why don't you share a little bit about what you've been doing?
Okay. So throughout just, driving to pick up the keys after the walkthroughs and meeting clients for closings and basically officing out of my car. There was, gosh, I have so many stories, but I didn't know what day it was. It was so confusing. It was like, you said, how was your weekend? I'm like, what day is it? I don't even know. It really is a 7-day a week, like 7 days a week. You are working in this industry. I get it now. Like, I see it. But I met wonderful clients at closings. I'll go into this one story where I happened to be showing some clients cabins up north, which who doesn't want to go up and see some lovely cabins
And
on a
then
beautiful day?
we've had nice
Yeah.
weather. Like, that's great.
Yeah. So I was kind of up north and I got a call from one of our clients who we had a closing just a couple days before. And as he was cleaning out some, the seller left some personal items that we knew was going to happen. And he called to tell me that he came across a box of cremation remains and he just didn't know what to do. So ironically, I was like 30 minutes away from his home. So I was able to swing in. I picked those up for him. And then the very next day, I coordinated with the listing agent and got those
Okay.
back to the
Okay,
seller.
you're making this seem like so much more normal than this is. Like, this shit's not normal. So
No.
I was like, excuse me, you can't, what do you mean cremation remains? And then you're like, but Carrie, I was like, oh, so like how, like like, how would you leave that behind? And then you had said, well, they're in like a cardboard box. And I'm like, okay, so like pet remains?
Nope. No.
Nope.
It was, it was a family member, but I do think there was pet remains too. It was two different urn type vessels, and one was a box and one was like a wooden box. But coming from the trust and estates world, like the compassion I have and the respect for the dead, like I thought nothing of it. I was happy. It was one of those full service realtor things that I'm going to just take this off.
Stop. I'm gonna die. Full service realtor.
Full service.
This is the shit that like you can't make up. And I'm just like, what do you mean? And you're like, yeah, it's like no big deal. And I'm like,
No.
also, like you're picking up remains and coordinating. And I'm like, maybe we should come up with a list for our clients, like our sellers, of what to like check off to make sure you have when you exit, because we could add maybe this to the list. Make sure you have cremation remains.
Right. It was just one of those surreal situations, and the timing and the circumstances of where I was in relation to being able to meet up with our buyer. I happened to like vacuum out my trunk the day before, so my car was clean. So these remains were going to have a respectable place to get transported back, or delivered back to the owner. So,
Yeah. So that's why I didn't hear from you.
No, I was very busy.
What what else have you had going on?
So another funny thing, just the things you see in houses, like it's not all that glamorous. Yes, I would love to be showing fancy lake homes on, which I did, and I loved it all throughout like the Brainerd Lakes area. But some of the houses, had more of a boathouse feel. So like the home was a little smaller. It was really decorated to a unique vibe. I would guess like a river bar, perhaps. And there was
Carrie, what made you think it was a bar? What would give you river bar?
Yep.
Same conversation. We're on the phone and she's like, I'm going to text you a photo.
Yep. There was a condom vending machine hung right outside the bathroom of this home. So as if it came out of a bar and put into this home.
But also the toilet.
Yep. The toilet faced the door. So if the door to the bathroom was open and you were sitting on the toilet, you could still have conversations with your guests in the living room.
I feel like we need to put these pictures on social. Can we please get that and throw it up on social? So when you're listening to this, go to our stories and you can check this out, because it is something. It is something.
And props to the Mrs. Buyer I was showing, because she did have her young son with her and she shielded his eyes from the vending machine. So.
Not ready for that talk yet.
Nope.
Yeah. Nope. Not there. Whew. So you've had quite the 10 days of being an agent. Is there anything else that's really funny that you can share with us? Because why not? This is coming out on a Monday morning and we can all use funny.
Sure. So some of the older houses that I looked at, whether it's Minneapolis, St. Paul, but just some of those early 1900s houses that I've been able to tour with clients, One had, like, we couldn't find access to the basement. We were looking for the door to go downstairs and we couldn't find it. And then Mr. Buyer was with, and he kind of felt a creak on the floor, and underneath a rug was the scariest trap door that led to the smallest, like, cramped basement, which obviously this is very normal. There are utilities down there, or the mechanicals, the furnace and the water heater were down there, but we would have never known it was there. It was hidden under a rug, and it was a legit, like, trap door. So,
Okay, this is like back in like the Ma Barker, like those like mob days. Okay, did you find any tunnels? Were there any tunnels?
I mean, it looked like there was. And so,
oh my gosh.
I have now, like, this toolkit in my trunk with flashlights, and because I didn't know there was, like, bat. It wasn't a bat, but it did look like it could have been a bat, but it was just something that was hanging from the ceiling, and just,
Oh.
It's just not as glamorous, but I had so much fun, and it's been quite an experience.
It feels like to me that you are enjoying all aspects of it, like the good, the not good, the, like, I would say crazy, the unexpected, the really beautiful homes, and also the ones maybe not so much.
Yeah,
Is that,
I
do you
really
like the
am.
whole?
I
Yeah.
do. I felt like it all makes sense. I still appreciate my 9 to 5 role here that I'm not, maybe, I'm not ready to part ways with that and dive into this full time. So but it's been just exciting and so interesting to just dive right in. And I've written 2 offers so far, and one of which has gotten accepted. So it's been a lot of fun.
That's awesome, Carrie. Well, congrats on getting your license again. Congrats on your first 10 days of real estate and crushing it. This is like so cool. So what would you say, like, to an agent maybe, or not an agent, but like someone who's considering getting their license? Like, what would you say to them? What advice could you give them if they were just starting out or thinking about it?
Sure. So there is so much information about, the steps. So taking the coursework, and then you get to choose your brokerage and then lean on your brokerage for that onboarding process. I was so surprised to see how, they have that system in place to onboard a new agent. So of course, after I finished my courses and passed the exams, I applied through EXP, and that onboarding person, this is her priority, is to onboard new agents. So there's such great information just from the broker, and lean on them. They want to help you succeed. There's steps to do it. They're going to teach you whether you join a team, if you go at it solo. I think they make it really easy. They can support you. Anyone, it's a total possibility. So if you're interested in doing it, I think give it a shot. It's been a lot of fun.
Okay. Also, if you are just a human being listening to this, or you're currently like working with a realtor, like, send them a text telling them that you love them, or like a virtual hug, because it's not all glamorous. And what you guys experience on a day-to-day basis that it doesn't really get shared with the world is pretty incredible, to say the least. So I think you need a little bit of love too.
Yes,
Yeah.
I love it.
Okay, Carrie. So tell everyone where they can find you and find all your #Traeger Queen recipes.
Sure. So on Instagram, I'm just Carrie J. White, and I think there's underscores in between there, but Carrie J. White on Instagram.
Go find her and subscribe to her email list, because her recipes, honestly, like, I know I keep talking about this, but I'm kind of hungry. So I'm thinking about your beef brisket. So, okay. Well, thank you so much for being on the show, Carrie. And until next time, Bus Bench Babes, remember to keep your face off a bus bench and keep being the badass boss babe that you are. Okay, girls, are you feeling as inspired as we are? We're over here cheering you on because you just finished another episode of the Girl, Get Your Face Off a Bus Bench podcast.
If you want more, head over to girlgetyourfaceoffabusbench.com. for show notes and more episodes. And don't forget to subscribe and leave us a 5-star review. They mean the world to us, and they're what keep us going.
Girl, thanks for being here.